All right, welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Graveyard Girls. And two girls meet in a graveyard on Halloween. Um, that isn't an opening to a joke. In fact, this is going. This gets ever more grim. Grief isn't a low; it's a terrifying high atop a mountain I never climbed. Visiting her father's grave on Halloween was never the plan, but inexplicably, Ellie feels herself drawn to the local cemetery. Hoping to find a semblance of closure, she arrives at the graveside with a notebook clutched to her chest, sitting against his headstone. Ellie talks to her dad for the first time in years, drowning in a downpour of memories. She closes her eyes and focuses on breathing. Daylight slips away, but before Ellie can leave, a stranger approaches. When Ellie and Lucia meet on Hallows Eve, two grieving worlds collide. And it's possible at least one of these ladies is a ghost.
It doesn't seem like it.
That's genuinely surprising.
Uh, no, they're just they both are. So first off, the game does open with a warning that it deals with loss and stuff, and that if you've dealt with that or have trouble with that kind of thing, maybe it's not the game for you. I will second that. Honestly, I haven't even really had any real big losses. I guess some kind of close, but anyway, my parents are getting older. My grandparents are. I have lost some grandparents. It's made me think of some things that are a little bit rough to think about. But yeah, and that's just from aging. The characters in this, Elle lost her father a few years ago and has been um kind of in a bad place since then. Uh, Lucia lost her sister like a week ago and is just starting to try to deal with it. And they just meet in the graveyard, and then they go somewhere to get coffee afterwards. And then it seems like they have a discussion. If you I think if you listen to all the options, generally you're going to get the ending where they seem to have made a future romantic connection. If you cut it short, maybe you don't get that one. I've heard, or from the documentation I've seen, there is a like a just friends for at least for now ending. I don't know how that goes. It's very short. It only takes like an hour, hour and a half. Um, the writing is good, and there's a lot of discussion about like what it's like when you lose someone, and then how you could feel about it afterwards, and what does and doesn't help at all, and things like that. And some of it felt kind of similar to the way I feel about some things. Other things, I don't know, are a little different. There are a few dialogue options. They don't change too much, I don't think. Though one of the early ones, though two of them at least do, because Elle has a sketchbook, and in the memories that also show you the CGs you've seen, um, also show some things from her sketchbook, and you can't unlock all of the sketchbook pages on one playthrough. There's at least a couple you can't. So, um, that's a little bit of replay value, I guess. I don't. I guess I literally cried while I was playing this, just because it was. I don't know. I was making me think about sad things. But I think it was generally in a good way. The music is piano and mostly piano or instrumental. It goes back and forth between having kind of a nice time and having some sad emotional stuff going on, which makes sense. I guess if I was going to nitpick a little bit, the art for the main the full page art, the dialogue screen art, and the like title screen art are all done by different people, and it shows a bit. The characters don't quite look the same in all the different things. Like they're still recognizable. Oh, and when they're at the place, the waitress talks a couple of times and shows up as just a silhouette. It was just a little bit awkward to me. But overall, I think it was a good example or a good experience to play through. Overall, I guess it's quite short, so there's not like any big twists and turns or anything, I don't think. How much is it?
So this is where we get into complicated territory, because we don't have so much a pricing disparity as we have a pricing canyon. There's no other way to put it. So on the Nintendo Switch, this game clocks in at $5.99 USD. On Steam, it is free. It is free to download, free to play. Yeah. And I did check, it is the same game. So I'm presuming the Switch tech there is for the conversion to the platform in the first place. But
and I don't know if you're allowed to actually put free stuff that isn't a demo on the eShop.
That is another good question. But, putting that aside, this is still $6.
I mean, I would pay $6 for it, I think. Okay. But obviously you don't have to if it's free on Steam, and this is a visual novel. You're just as well to play it on Steam as on anything, unless you really want to be carrying it around on the Switch, and even then I would hazard a guess that it will probably work on the Steam Deck too, since it's not exactly taxing.
Right.
I don't know. I still recommend it, even if you want to pay the money to have it on the Switch.
Fair enough, I'd say. My personal recommendation would also be the Steam version, not just because, that is costing no money, but it's a visual novel and it's going to inherently control better on the, on a PC.
I mean, the controls you need are a D-pad and a button or a mouse, so.
Yeah. Like, unless it's using the touchscreen.
It didn't even occur to me to do that.
Ooh.
There's no actual gameplay aside from choice selection.
Yeah. I suppose, the important thing with visual novels is you can just set them to autoplay, which is
kind of.
Well, I mean, at least on the PC you can. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Aside from making the choices, I mean.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that'll about do it for Graveyard Girls here. Mm-hmm. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review Tiger Heli.